Deadlock looks complicated from the outside, but it really isn't. If you're a new or returning player, or you just feel overwhelmed, then this guide will help make the game click for you. I've got over 1,000 hours so far in Deadlock, and I'm going to break it down simply without the fluff. Deadlock is a hero shooter with some MOBA mechanics, and while that may sound daunting at first, if you nail the basics and have fun, everything else will fall into place. Now at the time of writing this, Deadlock is still in early access and invite only. So if you need an invite, be sure to either join the official Deadlock Discord or forums or comment below and I'll help you out. This also means things are likely to change massively from update to update depending on when you see this. Movement is the most important skill to learn in Deadlock. If you get comfortable moving around the map, everything else will become much easier. Outside of combat, you get bonus movement speed. As soon as you deal or take damage, that bonus will disappear. Your stamina is what lets you dash, jump and reposition. Early on, don't worry about doing any fancy movement. There are dashes, air dash, dash jump, slides, wall bouncers and downward dashes. The first thing you should focus on learning is dash jumps and slides. This is going to be your main way of moving around the map. It's simple, reliable and incredibly strong, as when you slide you also get infinite ammo. Advanced movement like wall dashes or downward dashes exist, but you don't need them yet. Dash jumping alone will carry you through your early games. One important rule with stamina is don't spam it. Use it intentionally. Treat it like a resource and not a panic button. If there's one mindset tip I can give you, it's this. Do not play scared. You are going to die, and you're going to die a lot, and that's absolutely fine. Playing aggressively teaches you positioning, timing and mechanics. Make mistakes, you'll improve much faster that way, and overall have more fun. Choosing a hero doesn't need to be complicated. Pick whoever looks fun to you. Deadlock, unlike traditional MOBAs, doesn't have set roles for heroes, like jungle or support. Some heroes are naturally better at different things. Seven for clearing camps, Page for support, Hayes for a gun carry, and Abrams and Billy for tanks. But every hero in Deadlock can contribute and adapt to different playstyles. Some heroes are more simple, some are more complex, but that doesn't matter to you early on. You'll learn the game faster by playing something that you actually enjoy rather than trying to force the correct choice. But if you want a list of some of the easier heroes, I'll have a video out for that shortly. The first part of every match is the laning phase. Every lane is 2v2 and your main goal here is simple. Collect souls, kill enemy troopers. When you kill troopers, a soul appears in the air. You need to shoot it to secure it. Enemies can deny your souls if you're slow, and you can deny theirs in the same way. Souls will also drop on the ground, and you only need to be in a radius of this to secure them. The healing troopers marked with a flag will drop a healing orb. Again, you only need to go near it to pick it up, and it will heal you and any friendly players in the vicinity. Deadlock generally rewards aggression and lane pressure more than passive play, so again, do not be scared. As you're in lane collecting souls, you'll want to spend those souls in the shop. Now this part can be very overwhelming, and my advice to you is do not panic. You can use the browse build option and pick whichever build looks good to you. Some of them are great and have annotations for each item explaining when to buy and how to use them. Each lane has a shop for you to use at the side of your guardian. There's also one at each base in your spawn and 2 secret shops on each side of the map. You can only buy items when you are next to a shop. Again, my advice to you is not to worry and just experiment. Read as you go and you'll be absolutely fine. If you ever find yourself waiting for the next wave, go break boxes. Boxes give extra souls, and over the course of the match that adds up fast. You'll also see statues near them that give permanent buffs such as extra ammo, resists, extra health and so on. They're good to grab, but don't stress about optimizing different routes yet. Be careful though, as souls collected through jungle camps and boxes are what's called unsecured souls. This means if you die, you drop them for anyone to pick up. This can also be a great way to learn the map. Deadlock's map is constantly changing, with new visuals, underground tunnels and rooftops to explore. So exploring, when it's safe to do so, by breaking boxes, golden statues can help in the long run. At 2 minutes, tier 1 jungle camps will spawn on the map. You can see these on the mini-map. It's beneficial to do these quickly as you want to have more souls than who you're laning against. At 5 minutes, bridge buffs will spawn in between the lanes. To get these, you can use jump pads or the climbing rope. You have to perform a heavy melee to secure it. There are 4 buffs in total: movement, vitality, gun and spirit, and they're all very self-explanatory, and right now you don't need to know every little detail. Gun buff will improve your gun, vitality will boost your health, spirit will boost your ability powers, and movement will of course give you more movement and stamina. At 6 minutes, medium or tier 2 jungle camps will spawn. They're still pretty easy to clear and most heroes won't have an issue with them. At 8 minutes, tier 3 camps will spawn, and they are of course the hardest to clear. However, the more you play, the more you'll learn which heroes can clear these faster. More importantly, at 8 minutes though, the Sinner's Sacrifice will spawn across the map, and you want to make sure you get these. These act as a fun mini-game throughout the game. Every time you punch them, you get souls and take damage. Always heavy melee these, as it takes less hits, therefore less damage taken. After the lights go out, you can hit the jackpot. Timing your heavy punch when there are just 3 lights left at the top is crucial, as if you time it correctly, you will get 4 golden statue buffs, which are permanent throughout the game, which we touched on earlier before. You should always prioritize these when they spawn in, and ideally steal the enemies if you can do so safely. Now we're at 10 minutes and you're in what's referred to as the mid game. The mid boss spawns along with the urn, and typically a couple guardians have already fallen, with players starting to rotate out of their lanes. And while it may be confusing, the fundamentals stay the same. Keep pushing your troopers up the lanes. This is crucial as it means you're forcing the enemy to clear the waves of troopers you're pushing up, so they can't just stay in the jungle and hunt people down for kills. Fighting across the map will happen more at this stage, but you have to take into account a few things before engaging. For instance, where are you on the map? You don't want to be fighting alone on the enemy's side, even if you are ahead in terms of souls, as you're more than likely going to run into a 2v1 or even a 3v1. You ideally only want to take fights if you have the advantage. And although I've said to keep pushing trooper waves, make sure you're not just sat in your lane 100% of the time. There are some heroes that can take advantage of this, but you'll learn much more about the game if you move around the map and do something, whether that's clear jungle camps or get kills. The mid boss that spawns at 10 minutes is essentially League of Legends Baron. It has a lot of health and will deal a lot of damage to you early on. It also has a shield which serves as a damage check, preventing one carry trying to solo it early on. Once its health is halfway, it lets out a sound cue the whole map can hear, alerting you and letting you know that it's being attacked. Once defeated, it drops what's called the Rejuvenator, and in order to secure this, you need to again heavy punch this up to a total of 3 times. Each Rejuvenator buff counts as an extra life for you and someone else on your team. When they die, it uses 1 buff to resurrect that person. If that same person then dies again, they can no longer benefit from the buff. Now, even if your team's the one that killed the mid boss, the other team can still contest and steal the Rejuvenator, resulting in you having 2 buffs and them having 1, or vice versa. The buff will last for 4 minutes, so you don't need to immediately do something once acquired. The urn is the other minigame that spawns in at 10 minutes, and the idea is to take the urn across the map and deposit it to earn your team's souls and golden statue buffs. If you have the urn, you can't use any of your weapons, abilities or items, as well as teleporters and ziplines. The urn drop off will change depending on the game state if your team is ahead or behind. There is much more to the urn, but in short it's always a good option and you shouldn't be allergic to doing it. Even if you fail, you will most likely learn something from it. Now there's walkers, which are the primary way of unlocking extra slots for your items. Destroying each walker will unlock an extra item slot for you and your team. They also get harder in difficulty with each one you defeat. There are 2 main attacks you need to worry about with the walkers: Big Stomp and Fireballs. You will see 2 rings around the walkers. If you're in the inner circle, it will stomp you and you'll get hit. If you're in the outer circle, it will spit fireballs. The stomp will stun you briefly and deal massive damage, but it is easy to telegraph and dodge the attack, while fireballs deal massive damage over time. Now walkers are tough to kill early on, so you don't always want to force it, as you'll most likely die. Typically around 13 to 15 minutes is when you want to take down the first walker, and killing them is very beneficial. As said, you get extra item slots, but you also get souls, so dying for a walker is sometimes the best option. So you've taken out the enemy walkers and you secured mid-boss. What now? The enemy base, especially now with the latest update, is hard to attack, so you definitely want to get the mid-boss advantage, and you've ideally gotten a few kills before you start attacking. The goal is to take down the base guardians, the shrines, and the patron. Once you're in, there are 2 shrines. These act as a shield for the patron, one on the left and one on the right, and once both are destroyed, you can attack the patron itself. With the latest update, the shrine now has an attack which is clearly visible and will curse you, meaning you can't use abilities or items, as well as dealing big damage to you, so dodge this if you can. Once both shrines are down, start attacking the patron, which has 2 phases. For the first half of the patron's health bar, you do not need to be in what's called the pit, and you can do damage from practically anywhere in the base. Once you deplete the health halfway, it will begin to transform, which usually takes around 10 seconds. Note, doing this will decrease any dead enemy's respawn timer, so it's normally expected that you retreat after this unless you have a huge lead and you still have rejuvenated buff up. For the second phase, you need to be in the pit to deal damage, and just like the shrine, the patron has an attack that will deal damage and curse you while in the pit. And if the enemy has 2 players in the pit with you, the patron will not take any damage and you will have to kill them first. Congratulations, you've just won your first game of Deadlock, and with it, that's the end of my brief beginner's guide to Deadlock. I will be producing many more guides over the coming weeks, months and years as Deadlock progresses. So if you want to follow me, feel free to leave a comment below if you've learned anything or if you have any more useful tips for the people below. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a great day.